Archaeology is an amazing field that comes without any assurances. The largest item you ever uncover might reveal almost nothing meaningful about the ancient world. Conversely, the tiniest of items could unveil everything about the people who crafted them. Archaeologists never know what to anticipate when they search for artifacts, but they understand there are remarkable finds out there to be uncovered if they stay alert. Here are just a handful of those mind-blowing finds. Number 15. Gilt bronze shoes of Naju. Gold-plated shoes are never subtle, and the gilt bronze footwear found in Naju, South Korea, suggests someone buried with these had an ego or status to match. Discovered in 2014 inside a chamber tomb from the Becketts kingdom, the shoes date to the 7th century. They're intricately adorned with dragons, lotus blossoms, and goblin motifs, signifying power and spiritual protection. Their impracticality implies they weren't designed for walking, but for ceremonial burial. Experts speculate they were created solely for the interment, likely of a wealthy noble. The tomb yielded other grave goods: ceramics, earrings, stone pillows, arrowheads, and harness parts, emphasizing the occupant's elevated position. Unfortunately, there were no inscriptions to confirm their identity. Still, the shoes alone, crafted not just for death, but to impress beyond it, tell us this individual was buried with intent, symbolism, and splendor. They are a testament to how ancient societies channeled both reverence and prestige through art, even in death. Number 14. Talisman of Charlemagne. Charlemagne, the famed ruler of the Franks, remains one of the most chronicled and mythic individuals in the recorded history of humans. So much has been said and written about this iconic monarch that separating legend from fact is nearly impossible. Even the tale of the Talisman of Charlemagne is shrouded in uncertainty, presented as a possession of the king without any firm proof. It's also claimed that the talisman encases a fragment of the true cross, the very crucifix upon which Jesus Christ was executed. Whether or not it genuinely belonged to Charlemagne, the piece is an extraordinary Carolingian reliquary medallion and would be celebrated regardless of its royal link. Its origins trace back to the 9th century, which fits the proposed timeline. Certain narratives also speak of a strand of the Virgin Mary's hair once kept alongside the wooden sliver, lost when 2 original sapphires were replaced with enamel glass in 1804. No trace of the talisman exists before 1620, though records claim it was uncovered in Charlemagne's tomb by Emperor Frederick Barbarossa in 1166. Who knows the truth? Number 13. Thomas Becket's bloodied tunic. Thomas Becket, once Archbishop of Canterbury, fell into conflict with King Henry II and was exiled from England. After that, he fled to Rome, but returned to Canterbury in 1170, only to be assassinated by the king's knights at the altar of the cathedral. Whether Henry ordered the execution remains completely uncertain, but the murder provoked widespread outrage, eventually leading to the Great Revolt of 1173. Pope Alexander III canonized Becket, naming him a martyr. This elevated any item linked to him into a sacred relic, including the blood-stained tunic he wore at his death. The garment's fate after the murder is unclear, but by 1485, it had found a place in the archives of the Basilica di Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome. It may have been gifted to the Pope by Henry VIII in a political gesture. In 2018, the tunic returned to Canterbury for the first time in 850 years, displayed during a commemorative exhibition. Number 12. Henry V's Crystal Scepter. King Henry V owed the City of London a great deal during the 100 Years' War. The city's financial support was crucial in securing victory at the Battle of Agincourt in 1415, a turning point in the conflict. To express his gratitude, the king presented London with a striking crystal scepter, commissioned especially for the occasion. He enlisted England's top craftsmen, along with 2 French artisans whom he compelled to collaborate. The result was a lavish creation featuring red spinels from Afghanistan and pearls sourced from the Arabian Gulf. The gift should have been confiscated and sold off under Oliver Cromwell's orders during the 1650s, when the crown jewels were dissolved. However, the city concealed it from Cromwell's men, preserving it through that tumultuous period. The scepter stands as a dazzling thank you gesture and a rare survival of regal artistry from a time when war, politics, and craftsmanship were tightly entwined. Number 11. Gold plates of Java. In September 2016, construction workers digging a water aquifer in Ringgalarik, central Java, uncovered a small stone box. Inside were 22 finely crafted gold plates, each engraved with religious inscriptions. Archaeologists believe the plates date to the 8th century and were created as part of a ritual blessing for the nearby Buddhist temple. Made from 18-karat gold, the plates were dedicated to the Lokapalas, wind gods in ancient Javanese Hindu-Buddhist belief. Their discovery near a temple site reinforces the theory that they were buried during the temple's construction to sanctify the ground. The Central Java Heritage Conservation Agency quickly secured the find, ensuring both the landowner and workers received a finder's fee. While gold is commonly found in ancient Southeast Asian rituals, this collection stands out for its craftsmanship and symbolic precision. The plates serve as both spiritual offerings and historical records, revealing how religion, art, and social practice intersected in Java over 1,200 years ago. Number 10. Emily Ward's Nanny Manual. Emily Ward, the likely inspiration behind Mary Poppins, founded Norland College for Nannies in 1892. The institution quickly became the go-to place for hiring childcare professionals among monarchs, industrialists, and aristocrats across Europe. When the college opened, Ward wrote an instructional guide for her first students. More than a century later, in 2017, the only surviving copy of that guide was found inside a forgotten attic of the school's Somerset building. The manual also served as her personal diary, with entries spanning from May 1892 to November 1919. Among the pages are the founding philosophies of Norland, such as the belief that a nanny supports a mother rather than replaces her. There's also a customer list stretching from Chelsea and Manchester to Moscow. The college still operates today, with its methods updated for the modern era, but its foundations remain unchanged, carefully laid out in that time-worn, handwritten volume. Number 9. Ancient Egyptian Prenup. Modern prenuptial agreements might seem like a recent idea, but they've existed for millennia. One of the oldest comes from ancient Egypt, an 8-foot-long marriage contract housed at the University of Chicago's Oriental Institute. Dating back 2,480 years, this prenup outlines several unusual conditions. If the husband divorces the wife, he must provide 12 silver pieces and 36 sacks of grain annually for life. On the other hand, the bride is required to pay 30 silver pieces at marriage as a sign of commitment. If the marriage produces no children, peaceful separation clauses are included. While husbands were allowed concubines, only the wife had full legal protection. Breaking the agreement constituted a criminal act that could result in a formal trial. Despite its age, the document reflects themes still relevant today: marital rights, security, and responsibility. This ancient contract proves that even in antiquity, people tried to prepare for every possibility in love and life. Number 8. Trebushe Ball. Before gunpowder changed warfare, the trebuchet ruled siege tactics. In January 2019, construction work in Edinburgh's Grassmarket uncovered a relic of that brutal era: a stone trebuchet ball. Positioned in the valley below the iconic Edinburgh Castle, the site saw fierce conflict during King Edward I of England's invasion in 1296. Nicknamed the Hammer of the Scots, Edward used siege engines to pummel the city's defenses. This artillery ball likely struck during that very campaign, one that ended with the English capturing the castle and stealing the Stone of Destiny, Scotland's ancient coronation relic. The English held the city for nearly 2 decades. Though it's now just a stone sphere in a museum, this ball marks a violent clash in medieval British history. It reminds Scots and historians alike of a time when kings waged wars with stones, and entire cities hung in the balance of gravity and rope-powered engineering. Number 7. Mourning Ring in Wales. In late 2014, a metal detectorist in Gower, Wales, found an ornate mourning ring crafted from gold and silver. Its inscription reads, "Prepared be to follow me," which is a traditional message of remembrance and mortality. Though mourning rings became popular in the 16th and 17th centuries, the practice is thought to have originated in the medieval period. Such rings were worn to honor the dead and often engraved with the deceased's name. This one is different. No name is present, only a shared sentiment, suggesting it was meant for someone close to the person who passed. Its design and condition were notable enough that the British Crown claimed ownership, and the finder received a payment under treasure laws. These rings were often custom-made and carried both emotional and cultural weight. This example adds to the broader understanding of how personal grief, status, and symbolism came together in jewelry. Number 6. Neolithic bone spoons. The spoon, as simple as it may seem today, had to be invented like everything else. Archaeological records suggest spoons were first developed around 4,000 years ago, either in Egypt or China, perhaps even independently in both. Roughly 200 years later, the early Mongolians began crafting spoons from bone. In January 2020, archaeologists uncovered several of these ancient bone spoons, alongside a 7,500-year-old bone knife in the Egg River region of Bulgan, Mongolia. The contrast between the two finds illustrates the substantial gap between the development of knives and spoons. Historians believe the spoon's invention stemmed from evolving food habits during the Neolithic age, when societies shifted from eating raw food to preparing and cooking meals. While using bone might seem odd given the availability of stone or wood, it proved to be just as functional. These utensils represent not only innovation, but also how early people adapted to their changing diets and cultural habits. Number 5. The Seal of Wolfick. The Seal of Wolfick might not rival Charlemagne's talisman in elegance, but it holds its own in rarity and mystery. Its discovery was entirely unexpected. Found inside a box during a routine house clearance in Sittingbourne, Kent, in 1976. Despite its hiding place, this is an authentic Anglo-Saxon seal matrix dating back to the mid-11th century, between 1040 and 1050. Made of walrus ivory, it's one of only 3 known seal matrices of its kind from before the Norman conquest. Its inscription identifies it as belonging to a figure named Wolfick, but no historical record confirms who he was. His carved image, a bearded man holding a sword, suggests a secular role, perhaps a minister or nobleman, but not royalty. The piece's craftsmanship indicates it was worn as a pendant, either by Wolfick himself or someone who served him. Its survival and secrecy make it an invaluable, though anonymous, artifact from Anglo-Saxon England. Number 4. Prohibition-era whiskey cache. In November 2020, a New York couple renovating their century-old home uncovered a hidden cache of Prohibition-era whiskey. Concealed inside wall cavities and beneath floorboards were 66 bottles, wrapped in paper, insulated with hay, and incredibly well preserved. Local folklore had long claimed the home once belonged to a notorious bootlegger, but no proof had surfaced until now. The whiskey wasn't homemade. It was a Scottish brand called Old Smuggler Gaelic Whiskey, which still exists today. This imported label adds an ironic layer to the discovery. The bottles had likely been hidden around the 1920s to avoid law enforcement during America's nationwide alcohol ban. All the whiskey remains intact and safe to drink. Rather than hoarding them, the homeowners began selling the bottles, each fetching nearly $1,000. Beyond its monetary value, the find reflects how ordinary homes often concealed the shadows of America's dry years, when entire rooms doubled as storage for forbidden bottles and risky business. Number 3. Bronze Age Tomb at Hala Sultan Tekka. In 2016, archaeologists from the University of Gothenburg opened a sealed Bronze Age tomb in Hala Sultan Tekka. Undisturbed for over 3,000 years, it belonged to a family of 17, 9 adults and 8 kids. Inside were over 100 ceramic vessels, gold beads, earrings, Egyptian scarabs, and a bronze dagger. The objects, especially the ceramics, reflect artistic influences from Egypt, Syria, and Mesopotamia. One vase, painted with the image of a woman in a flowing garment, provides a rare glimpse into the fashion of elite women during that era. Cylinder seals from distant regions hint at a vast trade network and elite social status. While the tomb holds valuable jewelry, archaeologists are equally focused on the ceramic's decorative patterns, which preserve stories in their motifs. This discovery reinforces Cyprus's role as a significant cultural crossroad during the Late Bronze Age, where wealth, trade, and family lineage were all buried side by side. Number 2. Bedale Horde. In 2012, the Bedale Horde was discovered in Yorkshire, an astonishing collection of Viking-era gold and silver, dating from the late 9th to early 10th century. The hoard includes 48 objects: ingots, brooches, neck rings, armbands, beads, rivets, and a distinctively ornate sword pommel. While clearly Viking in origin, many of the pieces display Irish, Anglo-Saxon, and even Russ influences, evidence of cultural exchange and trade across medieval Europe. The sword pommel, heavily decorated and likely ceremonial, may have represented considerable wealth at the time. Unlike standardized coin economies, trade during this era relied on bullion weight, meaning objects like these served as both adornment and currency. The hoard was likely buried deliberately, either as a form of safekeeping or ritual. Its contents suggest it belonged to someone of high status. The Bedale Horde stands as physical proof of the interconnected world the Vikings operated in, spanning commerce, conquest, and craftsmanship with one buried legacy. Number 1. Bronze Age gold rings in Cumbria. Well, the British Isles are no strangers to ancient relics, but back in 2017, before the AI crap and COVID, something unexpected surfaced in Cumbria. A Bronze Age hoard featuring a gold bracelet and 3 unique lock rings. Unusually, all were crafted from gold, a rarity for that period in Britain. The craftsmanship and unfamiliar design suggest the items were personal ornaments, possibly worn in the hair or ears. Whoever owned them clearly valued them. They were hidden inside a hollow carved into a limestone ridge, then concealed under a rock. The burial spot lies close to an Iron Age hill fort and a nearby ancient stone circle, indicating the area held long-term ritual or strategic importance. While the exact purpose of the lock rings remains debated, the find has raised new questions about cultural connections and trade routes in Bronze Age northern England. Whether they were offerings or valuables in hiding, their deliberate placement suggests intentional preservation, not accidental loss. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.